Breakfast! I'm hungry! Take it from Crinkles. That's me. The best breakfast under the big top is post-sugar rice Crinkles. So crinkly, so delicious, so different. Each grain of rice in sugar rice Crinkles is crinkled with honey and sugar. It's so good, I crinkle every time I eat it. Yep, no matter what other rice cereal you've ever tried, you'll love post-sugar rice Crinkles best of all. Honey and sugar make it different and wonderful. A circus of fun to eat. So you crinkle on down to the store for post-sugar rice Crinkles, the greatest cereal treat on earth.
Okay, so this is episode 0 of Andy Finkle Draws Monsters or Something. I'm going to draw a monster or something. I'm Andy Finkle. So let's see what we got.
Andy Finkle draws monsters or something.
I typically start with the head of whatever I'm drawing in pencil. For monsters, I like, if it's not a specific monster, like, when I say specific, like if it's a Bigfoot or Mothman or something that there's been sightings of, then I try to keep it somewhat realistic while within my cartoon style. But if it's my own creation, then I like to get a little weird with it, maybe more than 2 eyes and good stuff like that. Alright. So, go over it. Pencil, then pen, and then marker. Ideally, I'd skip the pencil, but I'm not quite confident enough to do that. Not usually, anyway. Alright, let me add some marker, or excuse me, let me add some pen now, just so you can better see what I'm doing. Using Icon 3. Not saying it's the best. That's what I'm using at the moment. Giving it a smile. Usually make the monsters happy, but not always, but usually, because we could all use some more happiness usually. Typically I do it all in pencil and then start going over it in pen, but for the purposes of taping, I think it's probably better if I go back and forth. That way it's not too much time spent on me just drawing with pencil, which I don't think shows up that well. I'm gonna not do the pupils of the eyes until I'm almost done, because that'll give me a better idea what I want the monster to be looking at, where I want him to be looking. So I'm gonna hold off on that for now. So that's his head for now. Since this is about me drawing monsters or something, I'm gonna have the monster holding a drawing, since this is the first one I'm doing. Made that one arm too long, perhaps. Or the other one too short, but this is the one I wanted to correct. Ideally, I probably would have had his head up here, so I have more room down here, but what are you going to do? I often just draw monsters from here up, because honestly I don't like drawing legs, but I think this one should have legs, so I need to figure out how I want to do that. Thankfully it's a monster of my own creation, so I can't mess it up too bad. Can have many appendages as necessary, and they can be whatever length, and I can pretend that was my intent all along. So he's got a thumb and then what would be 2 fingers here. So if I have toes, it would make sense for it to be 3 toes. It doesn't have to, but it would make sense. But I often like to just give them kind of pointed boots. That's probably what I'm going to do here. Certainly not opposed to drawing naked monsters, but I usually give them a little bit of clothes. So there's the shape of his body. Gonna give him some nice cut-off shorts. So since this is Andy Finkle Draws Monsters or something, I'll have the monster maybe drawing a picture of me. So ideally I probably would do a smaller than a 03 for this, but 03s are what I brought, and with the smaller ones I tend to bend the tip. I haven't found the best solution for pens, what works best for me. It's always tricky to know when to erase before you do the marker. I get impatient and I erase too early, and then it smears, but I also don't want to wait around forever. Give it a little bit more time. So I am drawing this in my van somewhere in Ithaca, thanks to PEGASYS Channel 13. I was excited to get use of some public access equipment. By me having drawing show doesn't mean that I think I'm the best at drawing. I'm not the best. I'm not the best online. I'm not the best in town. I am the best in this van, and it's what I like doing. And I don't know. I paint a lot, but this is easier to film. Okay, let's slowly see if we can erase. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So the paper I'm using is Bristol board. Works well with the markers. I used watercolor paper before that, and that worked really well in my opinion, but it sucked up the ink, and those markers are expensive. An artist by the name of Doug Maccabee, not sure if that's how he pronounces his last name, nice guy out of South Carolina. He told me to try Bristol board when I asked him for some input. He draws really good drawings. You can find him on Instagram. On Mondays he draws drawings of butts, so something to look forward to. This is a Prismacolor Magic Rub. I don't know. I don't know where I got it, but it works pretty well. Okay. Try not to go over the pupils because I just did them in ink, so I don't want to smear it. But everything else seems pretty good. That's all I want to do for erasing right now because I really don't want to smear the pupils. But here's my friend drawing me. Alright. Time for the markers, that's the fun part. Let's see, I think I'll do some gray and then do some more interesting colors on top of that. But I'll start with some grays. I use Copic. I don't know if it's Copic or Copic. I don't know. I don't talk to a lot of people, so I don't know how things are necessarily pronounced. But Copic / Copic, Prismacolor. Lately I've been using a generic one from Michael's stores that work well enough for my purposes. Let's see. Looking for a good gray to start with. Kind of dark, but not super dark. You can do shadows and stuff like that with it. See, an N6 and an N2. N4 would be what I'd want. Let's see what these are. Cool gray 40%. I'll do a little mark here. Gonna test. Yeah, that'll be good enough. Okay. Just a little bit more there. Okay. So go under the eye. Monsters should have bags under their eyes, I think. So there's that. Little shadow on the horns. Now I may find, after I add another color, that this gray wasn't dark enough, and I may have to go over it again. Hopefully I won't find that it was too dark, because there's not much to be done about that. I'm not the best at shadowing, but for cartoonish style, I don't think it really matters if it's makes sense from a physics standpoint. Now I need something for the skin. I'm not sure. I picked up this Artist Loft. That's the generic. Picked up this kind of, let's see, azalea. Haven't actually used it yet. Let me see what that looks like. Not quite bright enough. How that blue's looking. That blue's looking pretty good. This is a character, or a variation of a character that I draw a fair amount. Often blue. I was gonna say I'd do blue, but he's gonna have blue jeans, and I think too much blue is no good. So we'll do this just pink color. As I'm starting to use this, I can tell it's running out of ink and it was a bad choice. But I can overlap it with other things. I should throw this marker away, but I'm cheap and these markers are expensive and I tend to hold on to them longer than I should. So let's use this fuchsia after all. Or what was it? Azalea? Something like that. With all of these double-sided markers, I tend to use the smaller. And I think ideally, if you're professional about it, you should always use the widest tip possible for the space. It gets faster and a better use of ink, but I don't know. I have trouble doing that. Now at this point I could still give him a shirt if I felt like it. I'm thinking no shirt though. I started by mainly painting, but I got into drawing more when things were changing in my life and I needed to be able to start and stop things more quickly. I didn't necessarily have as much time. I need to be able to drop things and then pick them back up. And found drawing is better for that. I still do paint, but I've been having fun with this drawing. No one taught me with these markers, so I'm kind of figuring it out for the most part. There's some helpful tutorials out there, but typically I'm just more interested in playing around with it and seeing what works and what doesn't. Alright, let's give him some freckles or something. I like doing yellow or light green or something for the eyes as opposed to white, because it's a monster, it can be whatever. And then if I decide I want to add a little bit of glare or eye shine, it shows up better or at all, if most of the eye is not white. The little bit that is white can be seen. this could be good. I got a mulberry. Let's go in mulberry on this one. Since I gave him a pencil that he's holding, it wouldn't really make sense to add color to his drawing, so I won't. Got him holding his pencil. Alright, let's do those denim shorts. So there's that blue, which probably end up with. This is a darker. This one I should probably throw away or buy some more ink to add to it. We'll do this one. Alright, it's pretty light blue, but usually if they're cut off shorts, they're faded. They've been around for a while. I can always add another layer of blue if I want. Now these legs are not the same width. I made this leg skinnier. That was not intentional, but it'll be okay. No reason why a monster should be perfectly symmetrical. I think most people aren't. So you can't really see me, but that is pretty much exactly what I look like. Alright. I'm going to go over the shadow part a little bit more, I think. Actually, let me do the paper, kind of an off-white too. This one's slightly darker. This is a cool gray 50. I think 40 was what I did before. So maybe a little bit darker will be good. Let's do a little more pink on top. Another round of that. Since the skin's lighter than the horns, I can go over the horns as well and add a little more depth to them without changing the color much. And again, I'm not pretending to be an expert, I'm just a guy drawing monsters in his van. As far as this drawing, if somebody wants it, you can send me an email with the address I should send it to in the email to monsters or something at Gmail. First person to give me address to send it to, I will send it to. And I would be thrilled if people would be so kind as to send me drawings of monsters that they've done. Maybe I'll put that on future episodes, I'm not sure. I definitely would enjoy looking at them though. If you want to do your variation of the one I'm drawing or something entirely different. should probably have nipples. Some mulberry nipples, I guess. Now that I see them on there, I'm thinking maybe that wasn't a good idea, but it's done. So, it is what it is. I think I'm going to go over with a darker blue. These shorts are too light. So I have an interest in monsters, just the things like this that you could just make up and can be whatever you want it to be. But I also have an interest in the ones from cryptozoology and ufology and stuff like that. I don't necessarily believe in them, but definitely find them interesting, and I'm not ruling out much. It's not perfect, but I'm gonna call it done. So that is monster drawing Andy Finkle or something. It's purple boots. Ta-da!
Draws monsters or something.
For those who like it hotter, here's a brand new kind of catsup, Snyder's catsup. Snyder's catsup is deliciously different, and the difference is the flavor of chili peppers. What a delicious difference they make. Try Snyder's. You'll like it. Snyder's catsup always gives your meals a bright new lift, but never bites your tongue. Ask your grocer for Snyder's catsup, the catsup with the chili pepper flavor. Snyder's, for those who like it hotter.